Back with you with another Lion legend. This time we're catching up with former UNA men's basketball player Thomas Fraise, a two-time All-Gold South Conference selection. He led the team in scoring and in rebounding as a senior, a member of the 1,000-point club with 1,038 career points. He's one of two players in UNA basketball history to score over 500 points in two separate seasons for UNA. Finished his career with averages of 16.5 points per game, 7.2 rebounds per game, while shooting over 50% from the floor in 63 games played. Thomas Fraise is up next in our Lion legend. And Thomas, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Man, thank y'all for having me, man. I'm excited.
Well, you've got an interesting career that your story is going to start before your time at North Alabama. We're going to talk about your military experience, your playing career at UNA. But first off, just give UNA fans an update on where life has taken you to this point.
Oh man, I still reside in Florence, Alabama. I'm a supervisor of the Work Release Center in downtown Florence. Graduated from Florence with a degree in criminal justice, so I'm working in my field. My wife and I have three lovely kids, man, three sons, and they attend Kilby on UNA's campus. My wife works on UNA's campus. We're living the dream, man.
We're going to dive into your story, and it's an incredible story. But before we do, we love to open these up with this. University of North Alabama, this campus, this school, what does it mean to Thomas Fraise?
Man, a lot, man. I got here not long after Hurricane Katrina. Coach Champagne gave me an opportunity to further my education and win the championship, man, and that's what we did. I graduated a regional champion of the South region, man. It was an amazing experience, man. I love North Alabama because it loved me.
Let's jump into your story. Let's go back to your high school days, St. Augustine High School. Athletically, what was it like for you?
It was non-existent. I didn't play high school basketball at all. So I went to school. I graduated in the year 2000. I didn't play any basketball. 2 weeks after graduating high school, I joined the Army. So that was my platform. I did 4 years in the United States Army. Served a tour in Iraq. After I did the tour in Iraq, I came home and I said, hey, I think I want to give this basketball thing a try. I think I'm pretty good. And I just so happened to know a guy that I grew up with who had an assistant coaching job at Pearl River Community College. And he said, hey, I can't promise you anything. I can get you a tryout. And I was like, man, that's all I need. So I got the tryout, and the rest is history from there. Excuse me. I played 1 year at Pearl River Community College, and I transferred back home to New Orleans to Dillard University. And after being there for one summer session, the beginning of the fall semester, Hurricane Katrina hit and wiped out my city. I left there, and I was in Michigan after that, and I played ball at Lincoln Trail Community College in Illinois. We won a regional tournament there. And after that, I came here to North Alabama.
So let's back up to your military experience once again and tell us about some of the things you were able to do in the military.
Man, I've traveled many places, man. I spent some time in Korea, which was a lovely, lovely time for me. Met some lovely people there. After leaving Korea, I went to Fort Benning, Georgia. And that's where I went from. Fort Benning, Georgia, I went to Iraq. It was in Nasiriyah, Iraq. I was on a 50 cal gun, which was quite an experience to say the least. But thank God, not only did I make it home, everyone that was in my unit made it home as well. So served my country. Completed 4 years of active duty, and like I said, not long after I got home, I started my college career.
So you wrap up your time in the military. What was it like getting back into basketball at that point?
It was tough. I mean, I've always been a bigger guy, so I wasn't in basketball shape at all. I had 0 organized sports under my belt. I just went in, really raw talent. And thanking God, I got an opportunity to play. I didn't play much at all my freshman year, which was a learning experience for me, sitting the bench and really learning the game. And I had an opportunity to transfer back home to New Orleans to play for Dillard University. And man, that team was loaded. We were looking to do some really big things with that team. And unfortunately, God had a different plan. But I guess I can't say unfortunately. I mean, it was just a different plan. The hurricane hit and tore the city apart. So me and my family had to move. My mother and I moved to Michigan, Kalamazoo, Michigan. So I did a year there at Western Michigan University, but I didn't play any sports. I had a dream to go back to Dillard University, but the facility in the city wasn't ready. So I went to another junior college in Robinson, Illinois, Lincoln Trail College, and had some success there. I was all regional tournament MVP there, and Coach Champagne and Coach Cora Wright sent me a scholarship to come to North Alabama.
Let's talk about Katrina for just one moment. I know it played such a large part in your life, the devastation down in New Orleans, but that experience, take us back to it and what you went through with it.
Man, it was an eye-opener. I think my resilience, because I really just came back from Iraq when it happened. So for me, it was not as devastating as it was for my family because I just came from a hardship tour. So as long as everyone was safe, I was fine. But I lost a lot of material things that I'll never be able to get back, pictures, things of that nature. But like I said, I survived in Iraq, Hurricane Katrina. As long as I came out alive, I was good.
Lincoln Trail College, you mentioned your time there, 16 points, 8 rebounds per game. When did the University of North Alabama come into the picture? Bobby Champagne, Corderite, recruiting to UNA. What made North Alabama the right fit for you?
Man, they sent me a couple of letters early in my sophomore season, and we had a couple of talks, and I actually came on a visit in the spring of 2007. Man, and believe it or not, I couldn't buy a bucket. I stunk the gym up. And I was nervous that they wouldn't offer me a scholarship based on my play in the actual building in Flowers Hall. But, man, after that, they surprisingly offered me a full scholarship. And I was like, man, if you're that, they recruited me the whole year. So, I mean, if you're that interested and you believe in me, hey, I'll come here and I'll play my heart out for you.
All right, so you're live in North Alabama. The 2007-2008 season was an unbelievable year of basketball. You guys made a run to the Elite Eight. We're going to dive into that. But that team, Casey Holt, Kenny Johnson, Isaac Gay, Quinn Beckwith, I could keep going on with some of the great players that were on that team. But when you guys first got together, what were those early days of practice like?
Man, we were a crew of misfits, man. The team that no one wanted. We called ourselves the Rejects, but we gelled early, and a lot of that was time spent off of the basketball court. We did things together, went to movies, went to parties. We hung out together, and we had a genuine love for each other. So that showed on the court. On the court, it didn't matter who shot the ball, who scored. We really played together. So that turned into a 29-7 season. That was a great year.
Now, when you arrived on campus at North Alabama, your first year JUCO transfer, you're 25 years old, a little bit older than the other guys on the team. But what was it like mixing in with them?
Man, it wasn't bad. I mean, I was a leader, and as on the team because of my age, but I also leaned on guys who had been here before me, prior to me. Like you said, Isaac Gay, Kenny Johnson, Casey Holt, Quinn Beckwith had all played the year before me. So they showed me the ropes playing under Coach Champagne. They played before. So that I leaned on those guys a lot, and we bounced off each other.
Remember watching you guys play in Flowers Hall. It was always exciting. Casey Holt was player of the year. Kenny Johnson was player of the year the next year. We'll talk about that more. But What do you remember about the way you guys meshed on the court and the style of play you guys had?
Man, believe it or not, man, we were with my size, we were an up and down team, man. It was get the ball and run, push it up and down the court. We shot a lot of threes. It was fun. It was fun. If you couldn't play in that system, you couldn't play. It was a lot of fun. Sharing the ball, moving people. And we won a lot of games, man, off of togetherness. I can't stress that enough, man. That was the tightest core I'd ever been with, on and off the basketball.
You mentioned the 27-9 record. You guys were eliminated in the Gulf South Conference tournament by the eventual champions in Christian Brothers. Still made the NCAA tournament. What was the confidence level like getting eliminated in one tournament, heading into the next tournament?
Through the roof. We believed that it was a bad night at the office when they got us in the conference tournament, and we actually got a little bit of revenge because we played them in the regional tournament. So we kind of knew what to expect. We made some adjustments, and we came out with the win.
All right, let's talk about that first win in the tournament against Christian Brothers, a 72-71 UNA victory. You guys trailed by 6 with a minute and a half left in the ball game. Do you remember much about the comeback?
Man, I remember that game like it was yesterday. If I remember correctly, they missed a free throw, and we got the rebound. And as soon as we get the rebound, Coach Champagne calls a timeout. But as he's calling a timeout, Phil Collins is making a layup to put us up. And so it didn't go through, but we pulled it out, man. And that was actually the first game was our toughest game in the tournament.
Next game, you guys face off against Ouachita Baptist. A game that you guys had in control. I think they came back. You ended up winning 99-93 in overtime. What do you remember from that one?
Quinn Beckwith, man. Quinn Beckwith hit I was actually on the bench when it was like a countdown of 10 seconds. And Doug Hunter looks over. He said, "Hey, man, he's going to pass it to Casey." I was like, "No way. This is going up." And he shot it. He made the shot that put us in the overtime. And we knew once we got in overtime, we would take it over and win.
That sets up the South Region Championship, a game you guys won over Benedict, 97-75, but it wasn't easy. You trailed 41-35 at the break, and then the Thomas Fraise show in the second half. You scored 25 second-half points, including the first 16 of the final 20 minutes. I know you remember that game probably very well, but take us back to when you were in the zone like that.
Man, halftime we were down, and like I said, we're a tight-knit group, and we're in halftime. It was like, "Hey, man, we're this close to a championship. Let's not go home like this." So it was a lot of talk in the locker room. When we get out, I was like, "Hey, man, let's feed the beast. Give me the ball." And then we went to work, and I got hot, and it actually worked, but I got tired too. I got tired too. But, man, amazing feeling. Probably the best game I've had in the UNA uniform.
You score 30. You're named the South Region Tournament MVP. And just given everything you had gone through to play college basketball, how sweet is that memory now?
Man, that's amazing. That's an amazing feeling, especially being cut twice in high school, not playing any organized athletics in high school, to sitting the bench my freshman year, to becoming tournament MVP at North Alabama. Man, it's amazing feeling. Like, hopefully one day I can get into the Hall of Fame at that school.
Now, I heard a story at the hotel after the ball game. The fire alarm goes off, and people are looking around out there, and they see you in the parking lot holding the championship trophy.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Dusko. we win the tournament, and we're in the hotel, and we're having a good time. And Dusko goes out of the fire door, and the alarm goes off, so everyone has to evacuate. And the tournament trophy was in my room. I wasn't letting it go, so if I had to evacuate, there was no way that the trophy would burn up, so it had to come with me.
I love it. All right, so let's talk about the Elite Eight run. You guys get to go to Springfield, Massachusetts. And I know you guys did so much more while you were up there touring the ESPN studios, the Basketball Hall of Fame. But take us back to some of your great memories from that.
Man, that was they treated us nice, man. They treated us nice. We flew a private jet, to Springfield. We read to some kids that had our names and stuff on posters. It was an amazing time. We did tour the Basketball Hall of Fame, the ESPN campus, and we had an amazing time. Just didn't come out with the win that we wanted to, but it was a great experience.
You guys lose the game 102-92. Let's jump into your senior season. An 18-10 record. You averaged close to 18 points per game, 7.3 rebounds on the season. You were first-team All-Gold South Conference pick, honorable mention All-American, first-team All-District. Your senior year, what were some of the highlights?
Man, a rough year with injuries. I think we would have had a better year if I think Andrew Chesney was hurt. We had that going for us. We lost some great pieces. Like I said, Casey Holt was a senior the year before. We lost him. Thomas Morris was a senior. We lost him. But other than that, Kenny Johnson had a historic year, man. He put up crazy numbers. Great tight-knit group again. We had some new pieces in Jarrell Redding, Corey Spate. Had like great times. It just took us a little longer to pull it together. It was a bit by the injury bug. We still should have won a national championship that year, but how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
After the season, you and Kenny Johnson were selected to play in the NABC Hall of Fame All-Star Classic. You go back to Springfield, Massachusetts, hosted by the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. But sharing that All-Star game experience with Kenny Johnson, what was that moment like?
Man, that we were giddy the entire way there. We couldn't believe that. I knew he would make it because he was Player of the Year, but being chosen to the All-Star game was something I couldn't even imagine. We got there. We had a great time playing together one last time in the All-Star game. Unforgettable. I still have the jersey. I don't think I could fit it, but I still have the jersey.
I got a couple more things for you. Flowers Hall, 24-3 inside of Flowers Hall, your 2 seasons. Great crowds. They loved watching you play. What did you love about Flowers Hall?
Man, that was home. That was the Lions' den. So we had to protect the home. And playing in front of those crowds, man, was like no other, man. Used to point to not only our classmates, but I remember vividly Johnny Simpson sitting in the crowd, man, and just we had a great following. It was pandemonium every time we played. We couldn't beat it.
The three-point shot at the top of the key. Can we say that was your signature shot?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's my spot. That's my spot, top of the key. Yeah, that's a bucket there. But I got playing with such great teammates. One, you couldn't leave any of those guys to come and double me. And then because of my size and stature, I don't look like I can hit that shot. So oftentimes I was left wide open.
I want to go back to your senior night. Not only is it a big emotional night because it's your final game at Flowers Hall, you proposed to your wife on the midcourt at Flowers Hall. How special of a memory is that, sharing that with her?
Man, that was thankfully that Coach Champagne allowed me to do it, man. It was very, very nerve-wracking. And she never told me yes, man. So she never told me yes. We're married. We've been married 10 years now, but still waiting on the answer. Yeah.
So you wrap up your career at North Alabama. You update us on where you are today, working in Florence as a corrections officer. But fill in the gaps for us. What was life like for you once you graduated? What was your journey to where you are now?
Honestly, man, I've been blessed, man. I graduated from UNA in May of 2009. And in June in 2009, I started working at the Work Release Center where I am to this day. I mean, I've climbed the ranks from just a correctional officer to the head guy. So I've been there 11 years. This next June will be 12. I have 3 sons, King, Zar, and Shah. They're amazing basketball players in their own right. they think I suck, but they're pretty good in their own right. I mean, we bought a house here in Florence in 2014. Like I said, man, we're just living a dream, man. My wife works for UNA. We bleed UNA. We're UNA blue and true.
Thomas Fraise, an unbelievable career. Make sure your sons watch this so they can learn how great their father was. I know the University of North Alabama is thankful for you. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us.
I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you very much.